What is Jane Slater saying about Dak Prescott and Calvin Watkins about replacing Tyron Smith?
So, which would you like first? Would you like Dak or Tyron first?
Dak, why not?
Dak. So, Dak Prescott, Jane Slater she's back out on the beat. She's pounding the pavement, and she had reported on the Dak extension. She still thinks something's going to get done. There's been a lot of discussion, a lot of people saying, okay, which direction is this going to head? Is this something where they're going to let it ride out? Jane thinks this is just typical games being played, but ultimately she thinks something gets done. It's just not going to get done, she doesn't think, until August. So that's what she had said yesterday talking to NFL Network, was that she thinks that August is a more likely date, which historically, if you look at the Cowboys getting extensions done when they've done it with, Travis Frederick and a couple of other guys, it's happened in August, with or without a holdout. That's just typically when they've gotten a lot of these extensions done. So we may not get an answer until August. It may be something we spend the entire summer talking about and kicking around. But
which Jerry would love.
Oh yeah, of course. That would keep them in the headlines because their level of play certainly hasn't been able to do it. And so they would talk about it ultimately in August as kind of a target date that Jane has set, and that looks like it perplexes RJ Choppy.
I thought the whole point in the extension was to have the money for this year.
Go all in.
To go all in.
Yeah.
Was that
the number one storyline of this was to get rid of his $60 million hit in order to pay others, including on your own team?
I think that maybe has been the primary discussion. And look, once you get that extension done, you can then get your extensions done with Lamb and Parsons and whatever else you want to do. But I think part of it is also about just not exposing Dak to the market. That's as much the discussion as it is what money you're going to save, is that you can't let it run out because you have to get it done so that he's not exposed to the market. Because the second he's exposed to the market, I think he's gone.
Yeah, okay. Even if that's the case, no matter what, signing him, not signing him, exposure to the market, to me, if you're not going to extend him before the first day of the league year, then you might as well wait, man. Because there's nothing that there's no benefit financially this year, or maybe even on the field this year.
Wait till when? After the year?
Yeah,
Bobby's saying.
I know, but I'll believe that when I see it. Or trade. Look, if you're not gonna sign him, then you might as well just trade him. You're not gonna sign him by the first day of the league year.
Why wouldn't you think it's more likely that exposing him to the market would risk him leaving?
Oh, of course, it risks him leaving.
But why don't you believe he would leave?
I think
I'll believe it when I see it.
You're just comfortable with that risk. It seems like,
yeah.
Like you're okay if he leaves. You're like, oh, okay, sorry. You tried to make it work, but ultimately, if it doesn't work, now we can enter into our plan of just drafting a quarterback early.
We can get a third-round pick and draft someone even better than him. He's a fourth.
See that, and that's the thing. I don't think he's gonna. There's no playing ball with Dak if you expose him to the market. You're just screwed. You get a third-round pick back, a comp pick, which is essentially a fourth, and then you reset from there.
But I think Jerry probably has the same mentality as Choppy of you wouldn't leave. You're not gonna give all this up. You're not gonna go somewhere else. I think that is kind of the arrogance that they have over there. Maybe they're right. I don't know. I'm just guessing as to what their mindset would be. So that's Slater talking about August as a guess for the number 4 extension. What about replacing Tyron?
So this is we've talked about this when good reporters like Calvin Watkins and Todd Archer and Michael Gelkin and John Michaud and people like that come out of Indianapolis and they're talking about they're positioning certain discussions a certain way. You can generally feel good that they've gotten this sense coming out of these meetings that they have and these discussions that they have. And so he has an article up saying why Cowboys don't have to worry over finding Tyron Smith replacement. And he talks about the value that Tyron has given the club over the years. But there's a section in here that's very interesting because I think it reflects either how the Cowboys feel about it based on his discussions, or at least how the Cowboys are posturing and trying to say, well, you can't quit, you're fired, that kind of a thing. It talks about Tyron Smith will have to convince an NFL team he can play 17 games with a limited practice schedule. For the Cowboys, moving on is easy. Finding a replacement is too. So that sounds like the Cowboys view it as, sure, go. We are not playing on your terms. You can go, because there are a million offensive tackles that we can pick in this draft. And we've got Tyler Smith. And if we move Tyler Smith outside to tackle, we've got TJ Bass that can play guard. Go ahead. The challenge for us is actually finding a center. That'd be more difficult. But you, Tyron, with your lack of availability over time, you are not difficult to replace. You can go on.
Wow.
So, that's a pretty harsh line to say for the Cowboys. Moving on is easy and finding a replacement is too.
But the Cowboys didn't he's not quoting someone.
No. But I think
Just to be clear.
No, not quoting anybody. These are Calvin's words. But I think Calvin is trying
Relaying.
to say this is the sense you're getting from the organization right
What's
now.
more likely to happen next year? That Tyron Smith goes to another team and has a very nice season, or the Cowboys left tackle is as good as you need them to be on a contender? To me, common sense says, well, I'll let you answer first.
Tyron's more likely.
I agree.
That he plays that at that level for another team.
Well,
or
just what's more likely? You're going to get a left tackle that plays good enough on a contender to protect Dak Prescott in his rookie year or whoever you get to replace, or that Tyron Smith goes somewhere and has, success. I'm not saying it's Trent Williams-esque when he went to San Francisco, but Tyron Smith is not going to starve out on the open market.
No.
Tyron Smith, I'm going to guess, now, he may not play in any of the games. I'm going to guess someone goes out there and pays Tyron Smith.
I would agree with that. I'm okay, though. It's okay, the way the NFL is, right? You always get rid of a guy a year earlier than a year late. If you take a step back for a year, and then that means you get 10 more years of quality play, in the future, I'm fine with that. I mean, these are tough decisions you got to make. Are the Bills going to find... The Bills just had to get rid of all these guys the other day. Are they going to find necessarily players that are as good at that position for this next year? Not necessarily, but that's just the way the game is. I mean, when the Chiefs got rid of Tyreek Hill, they knew they were going to take a step back for a little bit.
I was talking to somebody yesterday about just somebody.
Right.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, and we were discussing the options that could be there at left tackle for them. And when you throw around it, like just take example, some of the names that Calvin threw into his article here. Tyler Guyton at Oklahoma, Amarius Mims at Georgia, Troy Fautanu at Washington. A lot of people think Fautanu might be a guard instead of a tackle, and Guyton and Mims played right tackle last year, and have played right tackle throughout their career. So you're talking about even the three names that you're kicking around is could be potentially there. They're not classic left tackle players necessarily. And so that's something that maybe you look at and go, okay, well, maybe we draft a guy like Fautanu, we play him at guard, and we move Tyler Smith out to left tackle. I think Tyler Smith could be as good at left tackle next year as Tyron was. I just don't know that the Cowboys will ultimately pull that trigger.